Welcome to the Private Practice Startup Podcast, where we help mental health professionals grow their dream practices and live a life they love. We chat with successful private practitioners, business coaches, and marketing experts, bringing you tons of practice building tips. We invite you to take advantage of our private practice paperwork and our signature marketing e-course. And we have a gift for you. This is the exact methodology we use to create our six-figure private pay practices and have helped many other therapists do the same. Go to privatepracticestartup.com and on the homepage, click the button to download a free copy of your dream private practice playbook. Now on to today's episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Private Practice Startup Podcast. We hope you guys are doing great today, and we hope that you joined us last week as we had one of our colleagues and brand ambassadors, Faith Carlson, back on the podcast talking about how to fill your practice by getting licensed in multiple states. So during the pandemic, she has actually got licensed in several states through telehealth. So she talks all about the pros and cons of that. So if you're looking to fill your practice and expand your reach, what a great podcast that is to listen to. Today, Kate and I are going to be talking to you all about how to avoid the top mistakes therapists make on the intake call with new clients. Oh, this is something we love talking about, something that we've literally spent thousands and thousands of dollars learning about and understanding the science behind and really helping therapists master the call. So we really love that because through our own struggles, we decided we need to figure out a solution and fast. So we're going to share some stories and talk about some mistakes about that. So I think we could kind of dive right in because you probably know us by now. Unless you're a brand new listener, we wanted to welcome you to Startup Nation. And if you're a loyal listener, welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. Katie and I are really passionate about this topic because it's something that we have struggled with firsthand, and we've seen so many therapists over the years and helped so many therapists to overcome their insecurities, their mindset blocks, and really learn how to master the intake call with new clients. So if you're wanting to attract more of your ideal clients and to be able to actually convert them into real clients while you're on the phone with them, or if you have your intake coordinator or virtual assistant or assistant, whatever term you want to use for that person who may be helping you navigate the calls, this is definitely going to be an episode that you want to listen to. And we're actually going to do a two-part series here. So today we're going to talk about some of the mistakes. And then next episode, we're going to talk about some of the success strategies. But I think before we dive in to sharing our stories and talking about what to avoid, let's take a quick break for our sponsor.
Is managing your practice stressing you out? Try Therapy Notes. It makes billing, notes, scheduling, and telehealth a whole lot easier. Check it out, and you will quickly see why it's rated the highest EHR on Trustpilot with over 1,000 verified customer reviews and an average customer rating of 4.9 or 5 stars. You'll notice the difference from the first day you sign up for the trial. They offer live phone support 7 days a week. So when you have questions, you can quickly reach someone who can help. You are never wasting time looking for answers. If you're coming from another EHR, they make the transition really easy. Therapy Notes will import your client's demographic data free of charge during your trial so you can get going right away. Use the promo code PPS to get your first 2 months for free, or try out Therapy Notes for free, no strings attached, including their very reliable telehealth platform. Make 2021 the best year yet with Therapy Notes.
Let's dive in. So, when I think about this, gosh, we have to go back in time, Kate, over a decade ago to kind of remember and recall, what this was like for us. And I remember, one of the things that I think therapists constantly have to deal with, especially if you don't take insurance, is really handling the insurance question. And I definitely did not master that for a while, but I knew that quickly I had to figure that out. And it definitely reminds me, I always talk about this story that I remember the exact place. I don't remember the exact date, but I remember the exact place that I was in my silver Pontiac Vibe, while I was sitting at a red light on Wiles Road here in South Florida in Coconut Creek and 441. And I remember the phone rang. It was a number I didn't know. So that usually means it's a potential new client. And I was excited and eager to answer it. And it was a gentleman. And I remember him saying, "Hi, do you take Cigna?" I didn't even get his name. I didn't even ask for it because I didn't even know how. I guess I would know how, but I didn't even know the cadence of a really good intake call. And I said, "No, but," and before I could even say but, he hung up the phone.
And I just remember that day, like, if I don't figure this out, I don't know if I will have a business. And so that definitely took, I know, us both individually on a journey, because we weren't working together here, the private practice startup yet. But it took me on a journey on how to figure out how to master this intake call, so I can really assure that clients feel heard and understood, but also was able to position me as the person that they wanted to work with. And now we love it so much that we just share it with all of Startup Nation. So.
Absolutely. And I mean, I experienced that same situation for sure. And then I would say, I've dealt with many, many mistakes over the years, but I want to speak from a group practice owner's perspective. And I can remember as I was expanding my solo practice into a group practice, I knew how to navigate the intake call for myself. But then when it came to actually selling other team members and other therapists and how to do that in a way that callers who wanted to work directly with me because of my reputation and all of my marketing, whether it was a word of mouth referral or somebody that came across my information in another way, they were adamant about wanting to work with me. And so I had to learn quickly how to navigate those conversations so that those potential clients felt confident in my recommendation and referral to different team members who would be a great fit for their particular needs and the area that they were looking to be served in. And so that was a mistake that I made early on, not knowing how to navigate that. And once I learned the strategies for how to have excellent conversion rates for those potential clients that were calling that became actual clients and working with the team members in our group practice, I was able to teach those strategies to our client care coordinator and a while back, my assistant. So I've had someone managing the calls for me at the group practice for probably close to 10 years at this point, maybe 9 years if we want to be exact. And that has been a really important thing to understand the exact science behind what goes into the sales call, because that's essentially what it is. And as therapists, we oftentimes don't know how to navigate that because of how we have learned in grad school, in life, in all of these different circumstances to be uncomfortable when it comes to sales, that we're, quote unquote, not the expert in the client's life. But guess what, guys? We're the expert in the therapeutic process. And clients are coming to us because they need to see an expert. They want to see the authority. They want to see the person who can help them get the results that they really desperately want and need. And so if you're not conveying that confidence as you're on the initial intake call with them, then you're really shooting yourself in the foot. And, we talk so much about marketing and the importance of marketing to your ideal clients and attracting them to you. But that's not going to matter unless you can really master this intake call. So that's why we're really wanting to focus on this 2-part series with you guys today by focusing on the top mistakes. And Katie alluded to this earlier about not taking control of the conversation right off the bat. So that's one of the big mistakes that therapists or assistants, intake call coordinators, that's one of the mistakes that they make, is not taking control of the conversation. And that can play out in a number of different ways, where you get the quick, hey, do you take my insurance question? No, we don't. Click. You don't get to continue the conversation. Or it could be the other extreme, where you get sucked into a full-blown therapy session on the intake call. So
I so remember doing that in the past.
Yes. Guilty. And I mean, your time is valuable, and all of the marketing that you do is important. So you want to be able to know how to avoid these mistakes and pitfalls and not get stuck and sucked into them. So one of the first things that you can do when you answer the call is to say, who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? So someone might be calling and they might have that question off the bat that they want to throw your way, but it kind of slows down the conversation, allows you to get a name and to start taking control of that. I don't want to get too much into the solutions because we want to talk a little bit more about some of the mistakes that are important to avoid, but I did want to just give you that little tickler there.
Awesome. Let's just take another moment to thank our sponsor. If you're a private practice owner, this is for you. Running a business is just plain hard. Endless to-do list, employees to take care of, and your ever-present bottom line. So first of all, kudos to you for staying on top of it. I want to tell you about Gusto. Gusto built an easier and more affordable way to manage payroll, benefits, and more. They help over 100,000 businesses with tasks like automated payroll tax filing, simple direct deposits, free health insurance administration, 401ks, onboarding tools, you name it, Gusto made it easy. And they really care about the small business owners they work with. Their support team is attentive and helpful. And since money can be tight right now, you'll even get 3 months free once you run your first payroll. Just go to gusto.com/PPS and start setting up your business today. You'll see what I mean when I say easy. Again, there's that 3 months free. Go to gusto.com/PPS. So Kate said not taking control of the conversation, getting sucked into a full-blown therapy session, and not knowing how to answer common questions and move the conversation along. So what are some of those common questions? And as I said them, you're probably answering them in your head, right? So of course, if you don't take insurance, I mean, even if you do, a common question is, do you take insurance? But if you don't, or if you don't take many, is how do you answer that? How do you answer that with confidence and keep moving it along so you don't get hung up on like me? And I'd love to know if any of you have had experience of that. So if you're watching this from Facebook or something like that, definitely pop that comment in the comment section. I'd love to hear and how you handle it. So, one of the things about not taking insurance is really not answering that question right off the bat. And also too, I find a lot of times, just kind of going back for a second, like when we talk about not taking control of the conversation, a lot of times people, like Kate's saying, is we're experts in the process. So we actually have to have a process on the phone to lead folks through. And that's really important because if you think about yourself as a consumer, you might not know, like right now, we're in the process of hiring a potential dog trainer, right? And because one of our dogs, unfortunately, is showing a little bit of aggression that needs to be corrected. And so, I've never had a dog trainer except for my friend who used to train dogs, and he's helped us out. But that initial conversation, I was asking all the questions, but then I had to call back because after I thought about it for a little while, there was other questions I had to ask. Now, if someone was very super skilled at talking about through the process, they would lead me through a set of questions to help me probably identify for myself, like, is this the right place? So that's kind of taking control of the conversation a little bit. So, how do you answer that question about insurance? How do you answer the question about how much do you charge? And in the absence of value, as consumers, all of us do that, ask value-based questions. So how do you answer that? What do you guys do? I'm curious. And also too, not leading them through the process might have them just say, hi, I really need therapy. I'm looking for therapy for, my son. He's been getting, in trouble at school. He has some behavior problems. Can I schedule a session? Well, who are they scheduling a session with? Do you even work with children? If you're doing your marketing correctly, then yes, folks should be finding you because that's what you specialize in, but maybe that's not you. Maybe you just switched your practice. But if you're kind of letting them run the conversation, it doesn't go as smoothly. So those are some of the mistakes that people make when not knowing how to answer some of the common questions.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so important to really get a full picture of what the caller is struggling with, what their goals are, what type of therapy they're looking for, and so that you can really understand if they're going to be that ideal fit for you and for your practice, because that's what's going to keep your passion alive. That's what's going to make you stand out as an expert in your particular niche and create more of the word of mouth referrals because you're doing your best work, and clients are going to be served the best way possible. So it's definitely many, many, many benefits to you ensuring that you really have that ideal picture about whether this is the ideal client for you, whether you're the ideal therapist for them, and being able to know how to navigate the conversation and keep it flowing through the process is super, super, super important. Katie mentioned about the question that so many clients will just call and say, how much are your rates? Or they'll send you an email and they'll say, what are your rates? How much do you charge? And it's important to actually have a conversation with them. Whether you're a solo practitioner or a group practice owner, it can be a little bit of a different approach because maybe you're a solo practice owner and you want to have your rates on your website and you want to have them very clear so that there's a page about your rates. People don't have questions. You don't get stuck on the phone with someone who can only pay $20 a session and needs to go to more of a community mental health type setting. But if you're a group practice owner, you might have a different approach because you have a team of clinicians and you may offer different rates depending on different specializations and different lengths of time in the field, different licensure levels. There's a lot of factors there. So being able to help clients see the value that you have to offer, the expertise, how you can help them get the results that they want to get by meeting their goals in a more efficient time from seeing someone who actually specializes in the area that they need versus going to see a generalist. And that's very hard to do unless you're actually navigating the phone call or having someone navigate it for you with them, because they're not really oftentimes informed consumers. So being able to help them be informed consumers, to know how insurance works, to know all of these different aspects, know about the importance of seeing a specialist. That stuff is really important.
Yeah. And I know one thing that I struggled with for a long time, because as therapists coming into the field, so many of us, and I don't know if I've met one therapist who doesn't, but we have a lot of like money stuff going on. You know, I think as a profession, we are one of the professions where money is constantly talked about. And, you know, we've all heard those different sayings from school. You didn't get into this field to make money, or, well, how are you going to make money when you're serving people and helping people? Like, I know for me, sometimes it just felt like dirty, right? Like having this exchange of money, and especially in community mental health, like we didn't have to exchange money. Our services most often were free. But then to move in a private practice, and now you just had this really intimate discussion and session with his client, and now you're asking for payment. It just felt really uncomfortable. So, you know, with this, I'm going to say, you know, if you're having issues around money or confidence, definitely do some of your own work. Our great friend, Tiffany McLean, this is like her area of expertise, and we'll pop a few episodes we've done with her talking about money in the show notes page, but definitely get some help around this, or role play it, you know, see what's there for you. I know one of the books that I read twice was The Energy of Money, and it was actually written by a psychologist, where she kind of takes you back and really looks at what was your first experience with money? You know, what was the first thing you bought as a kid with money? Did you earn money? Did you get money? So it just kind of really helped, you know, uncover some of the narratives around there. So one of the things on the call is we could drag that crap right into our call without confidence. And it was funny because I realized that I would do this with some of my friends. I have a friend who has 4 kids. We're older now, so I can't believe 3 of her kids are like well into their adulthood. One is still younger, but you know, when we were younger, I would notice I would invite her, and then in the same sentence, I would uninvite her. So I'm not really sure if I was inviting her to do something or uninviting her, but I kind of like felt like, oh, well, she has so many kids, like maybe she can't come. But it was like weird, right? So it's like on her side, is it like, am I inviting her or am I not inviting her? So we do the same weird stuff when we're not clear about our fee and we're not confident. We get tongue-tied. We don't shut up. I remember doing this. I would say something like, well, my rate is $125. But you know, if that's not okay, you know, I do offer discounts, sliding rate. Like what? Whoa, like, oof, you know, so then what does that leave the potential client feeling, right? Like it's not clear. So when we state our fee with confidence, what we need to do is we need to zip our lip. That means zip our lip. We need to shut up and just state it and just let the space be and just be clear. So don't talk yourself down. I know I've seen therapists do this as well. Sometimes they'll state their fee and then someone says, you know, gosh, I'd really like to see you, but that's a little too much for me. And then they would just decrease their scale, maybe $40, and maybe the only person needed $20. So never just, if you are offering, you know, a discounted rate for whatever reason, that's okay. Just be really clear on what's okay for you, but also don't just discount it just to discount it, right? You want to ask first. So those are some things that happen when we don't state our fee with confidence.
Yeah, Katie's talking a lot about the money aspect, and it's so important to do the money mindset work. And it definitely, on the initial call, makes a big, big difference. And I also want to talk about the mistakes when it comes to scheduling, because if you don't have your ideal schedule worked out and you don't have that clear, then you can find yourself, and we've seen this happen with so many therapists who just bend over backwards out of the scarcity mindset or mentality. I've got to see my clients when they're available. I've got to bend over backwards. I have to see clients into the late evening hours, even though I want to be home with my family. Or I work with professionals. They can only be seen in the evenings or on Saturdays. So I'm a slave to my business on Saturdays. And so you really want to make sure that you're taking the time to look at your dream schedule, your ideal schedule, whether you want to work 3 days a week, 4 days a week, you want to work from, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. several days a week, and that's it. Great. Whatever your schedule is, then stick to it and only give a few options for new clients to schedule. You can let them know, you can ask them what time of day is best for them, let them know that you offer sessions during such and such time of days. And then once they give you an idea, you can let them know, well, I have Tuesday at 4 o'clock or I have Wednesday at 3 o'clock available. What works best for you? And just leave it to them. If they want to see you bad enough, they will make it happen. If you are the therapist for them and you've done a really good job of navigating the conversation with confidence and positioning yourself as the expert, showing them the value of how you can help, they're going to want to work with you. And so make sure that you are not bending over backwards for your clients' schedules, that you're staying true to what you need so you can have the practice that really is in alignment with your life, your family, your goals, your travel, all of those aspects. So important.
Yeah. So we hope that this was helpful talking about the top mistakes therapists make on the intake call with new clients, and come back next week for part 2 as we talk about how to master the intake call with new clients. So we'll be talking about solutions and really how to do that. And also too, if you don't want to wait and you're already having difficulty with mastering the call, Kate and I have done, like we said, years and years of work and training and thousands of dollars to really not only understand marketing, but really mastering the intake call. And we have our client converting call script, and we'll go ahead and put the link in our show notes page, and you can grab that and start practicing right away. It comes with a script and a video, and I walk you through each aspect of the script and why we say what we say and the reason behind it. So cheers to your private practice success. We'd love to hear how you're doing. Drop us a line on how this podcast is helpful, as well as the script if you take advantage of that.
Startup Nation, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we love talking about how to help you really attract and convert your ideal clients, because we want to have you having a practice that you absolutely love. So we hope you found this helpful, and we want to encourage you to subscribe, rate, and review our show. Of course, share with your friends and fellow colleagues, and we will look forward to seeing you next time on part 2. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on The Private Practice Startup. Visit theprivatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, free trainings, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and so much more.